Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about makeup that I forgot about, stuff that fell under my radar real quick. You know how you buy new makeup, you try something out, you like it. It may not necessarily be as good as your go-to products, but it's something that you do really like. So you start incorporating it into your makeup stash. You go back to it time and time again. Even though you may still be going back to your go-to products, but the stuff that you're trying is good enough to keep trying here and there. Well, today I'm going to talk about stuff that I tried once, maybe twice, maybe a few times, and for whatever reason they just like really quickly fell under my radar. They just unfortunately got outshined by other stuff that I have in my stash. So the idea from this video came from me looking for something in my makeup closet. So the stuff that I usually use like on a regular basis, I keep it here in front of me at my desk, and then I have other stuff that I just kind of like store away in my closet. I was looking for something in my closet. I came across something that I completely forgot that I had. It was something that I liked when I tried it out for the first time, but I just forgot about it, and it's really not that old. So that's kind of where this video came from. I ended up pulling out other stuff that I just forgot that I wanted to go back to. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a couple of foundations, and the first one is the Loreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This one is in the shade 510. I believe this shade is called Hazelnut, but I don't see the name of it written anywhere. I just see the number 510. So when I first tried this out, I did a video testing it side by side with the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, because up to very recently, the Too Faced foundation used to be my everyday like go-to ride or die foundation. And then based on how this one was described when it first came out, I felt like it was going to be very similar to the Too Faced foundation in many ways. So I was testing to see if maybe this one could be like a drugstore dupe to the Too Faced one, because that one cost $39. This L'Oreal foundation, I believe, costs $15. So I remember when I tested this out, I liked the foundation overall. I thought this color was just a smidge too warm for me, but I could definitely use it and make it work. This foundation is supposed to have like a natural finish. To me, it had more of like a soft matte finish. It didn't look maybe quite as skin-like as the Too Faced foundation, or as skin-like as it was supposed to be, in my opinion, for it being a natural finish. But I still liked it. I definitely wanted to try it out again, and for whatever reason, I just forgot about it. I did think about it maybe like a few months ago, and I said to myself, maybe I can try mixing this foundation with my L'Oreal, what is this called? The L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation. I like mixing up foundations sometimes just to see like what outcome I get. But I thought about doing that like a few months ago, and I just, I just never did it. So this is definitely a good foundation. I do wish they had another shade, maybe like this same shade, but a different undertone, if that makes sense, because like I said, this one is just a tad bit too warm for me. But this really was a nice foundation, but for whatever reason, I feel like it just got outshined by my Too Faced foundation. It just wasn't quite as good, wasn't quite as of a natural finish as I was looking for. But now that I have it out, this is one that I may keep out to revisit. I'm looking at some of the other stuff that I have in front of me that I'm going to talk about, and I know that I'm probably not going to go back to them, but this is one of those products that I think I am going to leave out. So the next product is another foundation. This one I don't think I'm going back to. This is the Milani Screen Queen foundation, and I got the shade 470 Cool Sienna. So I was really excited about this because I was happy to see a drugstore foundation that had a cool undertone in my complexion range. That is very rare for me. This L'Oreal foundation, this is a good one from the drugstore because it has like 100 different shades. I'm exaggerating when I say 100 shades, but they have a whole bunch of shades, and they have warm, neutral, and cool in like the entire shade range. It's very rare for me, even with a lot of like higher end foundations, but definitely at the drugstore, it's very, very rare that I can find a foundation that has a cool undertone for like my range. So again, I got the shade 470 Cool Sienna, and let me show you this compared to the L'Oreal foundation. I just want y'all to see like the undertones. I'm sure you can see that the Milani foundation, it runs kind of like more on the neutral side, and it picked up, you know, when I put it on. But again, just like with the L'Oreal foundation, this one, it was good enough for me to wear. I could make it work. I could balance out that neutral undertone with other things like my concealer and setting powder and all that. And I definitely meant to go back to this one too. And this one actually has a digital blue light filter. I didn't even notice that until after I bought it. I just bought it just because it has a cool undertone, and I was just so happy that I could find another option at the drugstore. This one I definitely did not like as much as that L'Oreal foundation, but again, it was good, you know. But this one definitely got outshined by my Fenty hydrating foundation, because I think I bought the Fenty one maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I bought this one, and I don't think I've used any other foundation since I bought that Fenty one. So that's definitely why this one kind of fell under my radar, and I don't think I'm gonna give this one another try, because I just have a bunch more like other foundations that I like over this one, because like I said, it's pulling like a little neutral on me. Yes, I can make it work, but I just feel like, why make it work when I have other stuff that already works on my skin tone? So those are the 2 foundations that I wanted to talk about. The next thing is a setting powder. If this is your first time watching one of my videos where I'm like talking about makeup, I always like to go in the order that I apply them to my face, because that just helps me not to forget anything. So the next one is a setting powder, and this fell under my radar really, really fast. This is the Fenty Beauty setting powder in the shade Cashew. So I'm not going to open it up because there's powder like all up in here that I keep trying to get back into the bottle, but it's the shade Cashew. Actually, let me swatch it for you so I can show it to you that way. Okay, so here is a swatch of what Cashew looks like. I know that it may be coming off kind of like ashy on my hand. That's just because I haven't fully blended it out, because I wanted you to see the color of it. So the first time I used this, I used it along with the Fenty concealer, which was also my first time using that. And I was having a lot of problems with one of the products. I couldn't tell if my issue was the powder or the concealer. I thought it was the concealer, but I wasn't sure. I have since used this powder again with another concealer, one that I use all the time, and the powder seemed like it was okay. I feel like the reason this fell under my radar really fast is because, number one, I don't think it's quite as good as my go-to powder, which is the Pretty Vulgar one. But also, shortly after buying this, I bought the Crayon Case Chalk Dust setting powder. So this one is also not quite as good as my Pretty Vulgar powder, but it's good enough to where for a long time, maybe like a week, maybe 2, I feel like that's a long time in makeup world, this was the powder that I was using. Like, this one kind of sort of replaced Pretty Vulgar for a couple of weeks, and like I said, it's not even quite as good as Pretty Vulgar, but I think I like the color of this one better than the Pretty Vulgar one. This one has more of like a beigey, almost like pinky tone, whereas Pretty Vulgar is more translucent, but they're both like really good. This Cashew powder, I mean, yeah, it's good. It's something that I could use again and make it work. I don't know what it is about this powder, really. It's just not something that I ever want to reach for, and I feel like I think I've only used it twice and I just never picked it up again. And what's so funny about this one is I have this like right in front of me. I have it on my desk sitting right off to the side so that I can go back to it. I don't know, I just don't want to. Like, I feel like this was outshined by the Chalk Dust setting powder, and again, it's not quite as good as the Pretty Vulgar one. So I'm gonna keep it here, but I don't know, I don't want to use it, you know. Okay, let's talk about bronzers next. Now, because summer kind of just started, bronzers have been coming out left and right. So I have 3 relatively new bronzers that got completely and very quickly outshined by another new bronzer. So the first one is the Morphe Glamabronze bronzer in the shade Trailblazer. So that's what this one looks like. And you know how when you get new makeup products, even if they're not as good as your like go-to stuff, you just kind of get fixated on new stuff because it's new and it's good. So when I first bought this one, I was wearing it left and right because, you know, it was just something new. Prior to this, I was using my Physicians Formula bronzer. This one is a really nice bronzer on me, but not too long after buying that, I bought this Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, and if you've seen like any of my recent videos, you may have heard me brag about this left and right. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, and this one is in the shade 3 medium. I just can't put this thing down. Like every single time I wear my makeup, this is what I'm putting on my face, and I have it on today. So I know that this Morphe bronzer got thrown under my radar because of the Charlotte Tilbury one, but these other two that I'm going to show you in a minute, it was the same deal. So the other one is the Fenty Cocoa Naughty bronzer. No, Fenty the Sun Stalk'r bronzer, and the name of the shade is Cocoa Naughty. So these have been out for a while. I think the powder bronzers came out a few months ago. The cream ones are relatively new, but I didn't try those. But this is the one in Cocoa Naughty. I just bought it maybe like a month ago, maybe a little longer than that, but it's relatively new to me. This one is a little deeper than Trailblazer. So if I had to choose between the two of these, I would definitely choose Trailblazer. I kind of wish I had gotten this one in whatever the next lightest shade is, but you know, I can definitely use this one. And then the other new bronzer that I have is the Revolution Glow Splendor Matte Bronzer. And as you can see, this one is a little darker. Now, even with this being so dark, I can use this. I just have to use a light hand with it. I actually have the lightest shade in this bronzer sitting in my online shopping cart at Ulta. I don't think I'm gonna buy it though, because I have like all these other new bronzers, and I know that I'm not gonna like this one in a lighter shade as much as the Charlotte Tilbury one. But I keep saying to myself, you know, maybe I should just give it a try. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. But if the formula is the same, you know, this is a good bronzer. It works. It warms up the skin like a bronzer is supposed to, but it's just not as good. It's not as smooth. It's not as velvety as that Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. These also smell like pineapple coconut. So a lot of times I will pick this up to use the mirror because it has a really nice mirror, and then the smell of this bronzer kind of gets to me because it is kind of strong. But when you put it on, I feel like the smell dissipates. So, I mean, it's really nothing wrong with this, but I just know with all three of these bronzers, they fell under my radar because of that Charlotte Tilbury one. I never reach for these. I never reach for these, and it's unfortunate because they're good. It's just, they're just not as good as the Charlotte Tilbury one, you know? Okay, next I have a highlighter. So if you've been following my channel like when I first started, you probably know that I love highlighters. Like highlighters is one of my favorite makeup products. I have been going for more of like a subtle highlighter lately, but I still really love a really good highlighter. The one that I have on today, like I said, I've been going for like a subtle one lately. This is a mix of these two shades from Fenty that I'm wearing today. I have no idea why I just told y'all that because it has nothing to do with the video. I guess I just wanted to throw that in there. But anyway, I really love highlighters, and I was very surprised that I forgot about this one. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter, and this is the product that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, where I was going through my stuff, stumbled across this, and I was just like, wow, I forgot all about this. This is a really nice highlighter. It's in the shade Rose Gold. I love rose gold highlighters. Those are my favorite colors for highlighters, and I bought this off of the strength of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I have no idea how old or how new these highlighters are, but I didn't know about them until after I bought the bronzer. So if you're familiar with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, this used to be like my ride or die bronzer. This one is in the shade Endless Summer. But if you're familiar with this line of bronzers, when they first came out, I think they only had 4 shades, and the darkest shade was just like way too light for me, and they got a lot of slack because of that, and then they put in 2 darker shades. Now the darkest shade is still too light for a lot of people, but it is an improvement from the original 4 colors. So I tried it when they came out with this one, and I loved it. This became like my go-to bronzer, and then from that, somehow I discovered the butter highlighter. The formula is the same. If you're familiar with Physicians Formula, like when you're rubbing your finger through it, it just feels so soft and buttery, and I'm gonna swatch that for y'all. This is like the perfect shade highlighter for me. It's just absolutely perfect. This one, I feel like on my finger, or on my hand rather, it looks very pigmented, but that's because of the way that I swatched it. But when you apply it to your cheek and then blend it out, it's just like the perfect subtle rose gold highlighter. And I honestly don't know why I forgot about this one. Like, I don't know, I forgot about it. I guess because I have a bunch of highlighters maybe, but I can't recall like what specific product, like, you know, diverted my attention from this one. Like with the bronzers, I know that I forgot about my other new bronzers because of Charlotte Tilbury, but this one I just don't know. I can't really recall, but yeah, I can't believe I forgot about this one. And just with some of these other products, I forgot about it kind of fast. Like, I don't think I used this very much before. It kind of just fell under my radar. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this one out. I'm gonna start revisiting it from time to time because I liked it when I used to use it back then. Okay, so let's move on to some eyeshadows. I'm just realizing that I kind of went out of order. I meant to do the eyeshadow before the highlighter, but oh well. So this is the Celestial Thunder palette by Dominique Cosmetics, and this is what the front of it looks like. And this is the palette. I could not wait to get this palette. We got this in BoxyCharm a few months ago, and this is she has another palette. I believe it's also called Celestial Thunder, but don't quote me on that. But this palette was made, it was kind of like redesigned specifically for BoxyCharm. And when the first palette came out, I kept saying I was gonna buy it because I love Christian Dominique's channel so much. And then when I found out we were getting this, I just held off and I got this. So I can look at this and see like what colors I used, and I know that I didn't use this one because I remember the first time I used the palette, I didn't use this one, and I really wanted to use this particular color the very next time that I used the palette. And unfortunately, it just ended up in my closet and I just forgot about it. So I'm assuming that with eyeshadow palettes, I mean, I usually buy a good amount of them. I don't have like this really huge, crazy eyeshadow palette collection, but I feel like I have a whole bunch of palettes. So I'm pretty sure I forgot about this just because I was buying like other palettes, and you know, this just fell under my radar. But this is another product that, since I have it out now specifically for this color, I'm going to leave this out so that I can play around with it some more. But yeah, this is another one that I'm kind of surprised that it just fell under my radar because I was so excited about it, but you know, I went on to other things. So I have another palette that I want to share with y'all, and this one unfortunately is going to stay forgotten about. So this is the Violet Voss Essentials Pro Series eyeshadow palette, and this is another one that we got from BoxyCharm. And I remember I knew that we were getting this before we got it. Like, this was one of the spoilers. I just can't remember if this was a variation of a spoiler, but I at least knew that there was a possibility that I was going to get this. I saw pictures online. I thought it was really pretty. I thought it was really versatile. And I knew that I was going to be attracted to these shadows here. Really all the ones on the bottom row, but particularly these. I knew that these were going to be my favorite, but I really like this color up here too. I'm not really into yellow shadows, so I wasn't sure about that one, but I like this color too. I used this a couple of times, I feel like. Not just in the unboxing video, but I feel like I did go back to this one a few times, but you know, it was nice. I liked it. I just never went back to it for whatever reason. But now that I'm looking at it again, it's just not as exciting to me now as it was back then. I feel like I'm gonna put this one back in my closet because it just looks kind of, I mean, it still looks versatile. It still looks like you could do a whole lot with this palette, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm not really interested in this one anymore. And I have one more product to share with y'all. This is a lip product, and this is another one that I was looking to see when I was pulling out all of these products. I was looking to see, you know, what lip products I could talk about today, because lipstick and lip gloss and all that, that's another product that I keep buying more of, so I just have, you know, a lot in my stash. This one, I am just like, I'm shocked that I forgot that I had this. This is the Wet n Wild Megaslicks lip gloss, and this one is in the shade Bronze Berry. So that is the packaging here, and I'm going to swatch this one for y'all so y'all can see why I used to love it so much. Okay, so it's the first swatch that you see on my hand. I'm just moving it around so that you can really see it. It's not the best swatch, but y'all can make out the color. This one I did use quite a bit before it kind of fell under the radar. This is like the perfect like pinky, almost rose gold type shade on me, and I do recall that I used to keep this in my purse and I used to just throw it on my lips when I just wanted like an extra pop of something on my face. I don't remember like when I took this out. Like I have like a little makeup pouch that I keep in my bag. I don't remember when I took this out, and I just don't remember like the last time that I used this, or you know what caused me to forget about it. Now even though I did really like this and I feel like if I went back to it I would love it again, I don't think I'm gonna go back to this because I just bought all those Fenty lipsticks and I freaking love them. Like I love them, love them, love them. And my two Fenty glosses that I'm going back and forth with now, the Milk Diamond one and the Hot Chocolate one. But yeah, I just have a lot more other lipstick products that I feel like I would just rather play around with nowadays instead of going back to this one. I mean, this one was really, really nice, and I just can't believe that I forgot all about this, but I'm going to still put it away because I don't think I'm going to grab this over those new Fenty lipstick and my Fenty lip glosses. So yeah, this one is going back into my closet. So those are all of the products that I wanted to talk to y'all about today. These are the products that got outshined by other things in my makeup collection, and a lot of them got outshined kind of fast, you know. So let me know what y'all think about any of the products that I talked about today. Do you have any products that got outshined really fast? Let me know. And I hope that y'all enjoyed the video today. If you did, please let me know. You can give me a thumbs up, and I really hope that y'all will consider subscribing today. I would really appreciate it, and y'all would be really helping me out. And I hope to see y'all back here for my next video. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.